Welcome back to the second tutorial for FNAF Engine. I'm Bryce, the creator of FNAF Engine. In the previous video, I discussed what FNAF Engine is, how to download it, and how to create a project. If you haven't seen that video yet, I recommend watching it first to ensure you've installed everything properly. In this video, we'll discuss one of the key features of a game made in FNAF Engine: menus. Menus are essentially 2D scenes. Examples of scenes include the warning screen, the main menu, and the game over screen. We'll also introduce you to scripting menus. Fortunately, in FNAF Engine Beta 1, scripting is done using blocks, a bit similar to Scratch, making it easy for developers, especially beginners. Before we proceed, please note that we expect you to already be familiar with basic programming and game development terms, like variables, scenes, parameters, and some more technical terms. Let's create a project. Once it loads, go to the Menus page on the sidebar to the left. Here, we can create and select the menu we'd like to edit. You'll notice that we have three basic menus: Warning, Main, and News. To create a new menu, click the plus button here. A dialog will appear just like this. We'll discuss the details of this dialog in the next tutorial. For now, just enter your menu's name in the text input area. I won't be adding any new menus because I don't need any more. For editing a menu, I want to mention home menus. The home menu is the menu that the game starts with when it runs. In this case, it will be the warning menu. To set a home menu, just right-click the menu you'd like to be the home menu and press Set to Home. Now, let's edit the main menu. This is the menu editor. It's divided into 5 main sections: Menu Properties, Element Inserter, Editor Helpers, the 2D Scene Editor, and Element Properties. The Menu Properties section contains the menu properties, like background image and background color. Things to know about background image is not only can you set it as a static image, but also an animation. We'll discuss about animations in the next video. You can hover over the property name to get a description for it. The Element Inserter area contains 4 buttons, excluding the CN button, which will be added in a later version. These buttons are Sprite, Button, Text, and Animation. Each button adds a corresponding element to the scene editor. Elements in the FNAF Engine are 2D objects that can be visible in a scene. The Editor Helpers area is a small section that aids in editing your scene, such as enabling grid snapping, enabling vertical and horizontal guidelines, and controlling layer visibility. The 2D Scene Editor allows you to see and edit your menu's appearance, mainly the placement and look of your elements. And finally, the Element Properties area is where you would configure the behavior, data, and visuals of your elements. However, a property name to get a tooltip explaining its function. Things to note about the 2D Scene Editor is that when you right-click in it, it shows a context menu that should look like this. The context menu allows you to not only edit the scene, but also the selected elements. Just finished adding a few things for the menus. In the main menu, as you see, we have Freddy in the background, and I set the title. In fact, I also set the static effect for the menu. We'll talk about static effects in the next tutorial as well. And I also set the background for the news page. Fairly simple stuff. Now, let's talk about menu scripting. You can edit a script for your menu by clicking Edit Script on the bottom right corner. Alternatively, you could go to the scripts page and click on the button with the menu's name you'd like to edit. Scripting in FNAF Engine is straightforward. Reading the blocks gives you an idea of what each part of the menu script does. Script blocks are divided into 2 types: event blocks and action blocks. Event blocks trigger parts of your code, like executing code on every game update or when a button is clicked. Action blocks perform specific actions, such as setting a variable or changing a menu. Some action blocks, called sub-action blocks, Don't perform an action at all, but let code proceed only if a condition is met, like checking if a variable equals a certain value or if a button is hovered. In the button new game clicked block, an action block called go to menu is executed, which directs to the news menu. The on-game loop event triggers on every game update. Below it are two sub-action blocks, both named is button continue hovered. This is a huge problem, as this sub-action block performs different actions than the second sub-action block. What should have happened is that if the button name continue is hovered, the night.txt element would have been visible and its text would be set to this. If the continue button is not hovered, the night.txt element should be hidden. To fix this, we should negate this second sub-action block. To negate it, click on this gear icon, and then check the negate property. If a block is negated, that means it performs the opposite of its intention. If you see this not word right here, that means the block is negated. Now the script should execute as it should have been intended. Let me quickly fix something right quick. This should have been session. I have no idea why. It says data. Oh, speaking of which, let's move on to the next part of this section. About half of Phoenix Engine script blocks are editable, meaning they contain parameters that change the block's output. Edit parameters by clicking on the gear icon of a script block, opening a dialog with parameter names and parameter values. The first part of the parameter value ensures the correct data type, for example, a number or the name of an element. The second part allows free text input, as you see here. You might have noticed this button next to each parameter value. This opens up the expression editor. This editor contains sections with text commands you could use. Let me quickly explain what a text command is. Let's use the math text command for example. Let's replace this part with 1 plus 1. To be clear, inside the parentheses of a text command will be the parameters for it. So let's say, have 1 plus 1 for the math operation. That means this text command will be replaced with 2, since 1 plus 1 is 2. Let me quickly explain the three variables of Phoenix Engine. Local variables are not saved in the game's save file and can only be accessed in the script it was declared in. Session variables are also not saved into the game's save file, but can also be accessed anywhere, anytime. Last but not least, game variables are, yes, saved into the game's save file and can be accessed anywhere, anytime. To wrap this section off, here are a few reminders. Remember to save your scripts regularly. You can also double-click script blocks to show up this dialog, the parameters dialog. In Phoenix Engine, you can auto-save contents like your scripts and your menu, whatever. Although autosave only works if you go to any other page. If you reload the page that you're in, autosave won't work. Let me show a quick example. Let me set the X position to 120. Let me reload the page. It's back as where it was. If I go to any other page, to be clear, I have autosave on. If I go to any other page, it will save. Let me set it back as it was. In Phoenix Engine, you could also add comments. This is a title. Comments should look like this. In a future version, comments will be on the side of an element, but they have to be right here for now. This could be helpful for many things, such as if you're creating a template for users to use, and you just want to add comments to certain elements or whatever, just to, just for the user to understand what the element or something does. Speaking of comments, Phoenix Engine also has comments. a comment block for your comments. This is a comment. Oh shoot, this is a comment. Quick thing I would like to know is that when you right click on the script block, it shows this kind of context menu. Clone does exactly what you think. Just clones the block, clones the top, clones the script block at the top, of course, yeah. And I think you can guess what clone to the bottom does. Replace, of course, just replaces the block with, another. Let's say is key down, for example. Would you like to copy the arguments to replacement block? Yes. Here you go. So, yeah, thank you for watching this video. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next tutorial.